So, happy Sunday, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, whatever part of the world you're currently listening and watching our video blog. Today's, I believe, the 10th of May. So, as y'all can see, the weather's perfect to be out and about. It's a little warm. It's up in the 80s right now. I'm just gonna slow walk today and just kind of enjoy my time outdoors and talk a little bit about some current events that's happening in the state of Virginia. So I don't know what it is. Could it be because we're getting ready to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the country from seceding from the crown, which basically started and happened in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Maybe that's what it is. It's just issues upon issues that's affecting our Commonwealth. So I figure I'd go ahead and talk about it. I'm not gonna overly drill down on some issues, but I do want to kind of reflect on what's happening that is so extremely unproductive. And so I figure I'll just go ahead and talk about the last referendum that took place that shouldn't have even taken place, because apparently, based off of what I've learned, that the Supreme Court, the Virginia Supreme Court, has the last say on that redistricting issue. And as it seems like the state itself cannot just call a referendum, but redistricting election, which could have been avoided had the public reach out to the Virginia Supreme Court and try to sort things out and see if it's even doable. So all about, just asking a simple question, and that didn't even happen. So all these out-of-towners, like politicians from other states, decided to ascend into Virginia, and even various political influencers decided to meddle into the affairs of our state. So what came out of it? Well, for the most part, nothing really. They just created this big brouhaha, okay, over something that really isn't all that big of an issue to begin with, because there was no real reason or value proposition pertaining to the redistricting issue. It's all about political maneuvering, which is, for the most part, doesn't really do much of anything for anyone. There was no real substance to it. It's all about, how would I put it? It's basically a hypothesis of what could happen, okay, regarding the Trump administration from the Democrat side, and on the Republican side, it's basically saying that it's not fair and unethical, and it just doesn't serve the purpose and the overall public interest of our population, which I tend to agree, because after I research from the both sides of this case, I simply did not see the likelihood that the Trump administration would try to meddle into Virginia politics to the point that it becomes a one-party system. Okay, so I simply did not see that as I researched the issue. And I've even gone to the extent of listening in on some public events that I didn't see the overall benefit. So that's the reality of things, folks. Much to do about nothing, unfortunately. But here we are, people from California, politicians from a deep blue state where all these social media giants are situated and headquarters, are now meddling into our election. And they're getting the social media giants to meddle into our electoral system. Now, I don't know if we really want to live in a society where social media giants dictate who we ought to vote for, okay, and what we should do as a society. Now, as many of you are aware, I'm advocated for the utilization of the social media platform in economic development, using various social media platforms, which evolve into my concept of faceconomics. Okay, I'm all for the utilization of modern technology to improve communities, economies, countries, and lives worldwide. Okay, but I do not approve nor condone having a dictatorship facilitated through the social media platform, because that's not the will of the public, that's not the will of the people. And so that's something that we definitely do not want to keep on promoting, because it will destroy our democracy, it will ruin our values and things that we fought for. They can silence, social media platforms can silence influencers, especially if it doesn't quite align with the narrative that they want you to know about. And that's just the reality of things, folks. So yeah, so I just thought I'd talk about it and let you guys know how I feel about all this, because it's so counterproductive. We actually have been fighting for our freedoms and rights as a society, and then all of a sudden we just turn over all those freedoms and rights to the highest bidder, which is the social media giants. We basically monopolize our freedom and rights to the highest bidder, which is now the social media platforms. And many of these platforms has more power than the sitting president of the United States. Okay, has more power than our elected officials. So, as an example, during Mr. Trump's first term in office, he was silenced on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Okay, and even X at that time. So, who in the most recent presidential history has been silenced to the extent that Mr. Trump was silenced. No one. He is the very first president in office. He was serving, okay, in office, that have been silenced on social media. That's the kind of power this platform has, okay? And it's unfortunate because it's a pretty scary thought when elected officials can be silenced when they're supposed to be communicating with the public. Okay, so that's just something that I want to talk to you guys about. Anyway, so the politicians from Democrat states that are using their social media platform are not being silenced. Matter of fact, they're amplified. Their content goes viral. So that just shows you that there is no, balance when it comes to the political agenda of the social platforms. Okay, don't get me wrong, I supported virtually all of them because I saw the good that it could possibly project towards society, towards nation building, towards economic development, towards diplomacy. I saw the benefits of it, but what do we have to give up as a society to coexist with the social media platforms? Do we give up our rights and freedoms? Very few people want to do it, not just in the country but all over the world. They don't want to give up their freedom. Okay, they don't want to be silenced. If they would like to share their opinions, ideas, and concerns, then they ought to be able to do that. Okay, folks. But when one talks, democracy walks. And unfortunately, in a capitalistic society in America, we're slowly giving up a lot of our rights. Okay? How many influencers do y'all know who is a conservative is getting connected with the mass population and able to share their message with them? Not a whole lot. Okay? Conservatism is not about the mega movement. Conservatism and being patriotic, okay, does not have to be alienating those that don't believe in the same ideas, opinions, and vision as we do, and still work with them. Okay, that's the true nature of democracy. And so, unfortunately, people have given up on a lot of things, and they're just tired of it. So they just basically let things happen without pushing back. And every time they give up their freedom, it infringes on everybody else's rights and affect so many people. Okay, that's just the reality of things, unfortunately. And like I said, we live in a very capitalistic minded society, and whoever has the most money wins. That goes in our politics, that goes in our business, that goes essentially on everything that we incorporate into our lives. All right, folks. So going back to the gerrymandering issue and how it's affecting Virginia politics is, these politicians from blue states, mainly California, most of them meddle into our business from California all the way out here, from the West Coast to the East Coast. I don't know why they decide to do this, but they're trying to influence us with their liberal agenda that is not working in their own home state. So if it's not working in your home state, why would you want to tell people what to do and use the same inefficient and ineffective strategy in a state you don't even know much about? Okay. So anyway, let's see what else happened recently. Let's talk about, given that, politicians going into other states, and even now that I'm going to talk about is going into other countries. So, J.D. Vance, our vice president, was recently involved in a public diplomacy engagement in Hungary, in which he tried to support and stump for Viktor Orban. Okay, Viktor Orban is one of Mr. Trump's closest ally in Europe. Maybe the only ally in Europe, for that matter. Given that my background is in that part of the world, Central and Eastern Europe, in terms of capacity building, economic development, trade, and commercial development, I guess I might as well talk about my overall observation. Okay, so I'm back at the creek. See if we can find any turtles. Oh, there's one over there, a little tiny one, just swimming around. Oh, here's one of the bigger ones right there. I don't know if you can see it. It's got his head bobbing up and dove right back down. And another, oh, there's two here. Okay, see if we can find a few more. And there's one perch right there. I don't know if you can see them, but they're perched right there. You see it? A little stump. And there's one over here floating. Anyway, so J.D. Vance, okay, went to Hungary and spoke on behalf of the Trump administration in support of Viktor Orban's candidacy for re-election. That was a tough event to engage in for anyone. I mean, imagine someone from another country stumping for a political event which he's not from the country or speaks the language or have had prior experience in the country before becoming the vice president. It's pretty tough. Now, being a vice president tends to be, a job for pinch hitters. What I mean by that is the people that can operate in any environment, but has no real expertise, deep expertise into that environment. And so that's what the vice president tend to have to deal with every time they travel overseas. Okay, and he was under a lot of pressure, okay, because he's having to compete with other countries that is anti-Orban, who were basically trying to remove Orban. So They had more expertise in the country and region, and they utilized those expertise to reinforce the hatred of the European Union against the Trump administration, and fueled the flame of miscommunication and misinformation that swayed the vote of many of the Hungarians. Granted, not all Hungarians voted, but there were quite a bit that showed up in last April's election. So why am I talking about it? Because I believe J.D. Vance is a true statesman that is efficient in our country, which that's what all he needs to be. He doesn't have to be a superstar or a rock star in another country as a politician. Why should he? He's not from those countries. He doesn't have any vested interest in those countries. And yet, many of the liberal media started dogging him for it, as if it's his job to influence hearts and minds overseas in a political content that even their own politicians in Hungary are not that well versed in. Okay, so I want to give kudos to Mr. Vance, given that my background and expertise are in emerging and frontier markets of Central and Eastern Europe. Okay, I think that was more of a political experiment on his part, rather than actually trying to influence the electorate of Hungary. Because many of them, even if they were pro-Orban, do not appreciate a foreign political symbol or politician telling them that he or his administration supports their candidate. Now, we are good friends with Hungary as America during the Orban administration, okay, and always have been between Trump and Mr. Orban. What I think was the miscalculation was that Mr. Orban was going against not just the opposition in his country, he's also fighting with other pro-EU member countries. Okay, folks. So that's what went down in the Hungarian election. And because of the current unpopular, situation of the Trump administration throughout Europe, it was a mission impossible, per se, for Mr. Vance to parachute into a political rally and try to influence, friendly Hungarian voters. Okay, because it's just not the best strategy for Mr. Orban's campaign. Now, if they just simply said the US, okay, and all our resources will be vested in support of Hungary, regardless of who the prime minister is, maybe that would have worked better. Even though obviously they're gonna be more interested in supporting an Orban administration than the Magyar administration. So that's my thought on all of that. Mr. Vance came in as a sacrificial lamb to many of these, you know, political events that he was sent to as a vice president, because he was not, you know, trained or have had experience in global geopolitical policy making, or have lived and worked overseas. Now his wife, or his wife's family, were originally from India, so he's had ample experience dealing with people from overseas, but he's never been influenced, or I guess been exposed to global politics or geopolitics. All right, for a shout out, another watcher. Hello, Nushlika Hanwar, how are you? And thanks for joining me on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. And Kalyo Wax, thanks for joining me on today's walk. I hope you all are doing great on this Sunday afternoon, whatever part of the world you're currently listening and watching our video blog. So where was I? So Mr. Vance have had experience dealing with people from overseas, and perhaps that's where the idea originated from, by him being sent overseas to influence hearts and minds overseas, abroad, in a political context. But if you look at politics in the year 2026, it's a very different arena. It doesn't matter if it's in the US or overseas. People around the world wants to be inspired, want to win hearts and minds, or you have to win their hearts and minds, I should say. And the only way for that to take place, it's not based off of what you do or what you say. It's based off of events that have taken place, in which your personal life story resonates with the public. They identify with what you had to deal with. Okay, you don't have to say a word in politics today. Okay, it doesn't matter if you're from the US or from abroad. People want to know who you are as a person without you telling them who you are as a person. The only way that that will happen is based off of your social media platform, in which you become an influencer, because politics is about influence. When you're an influencer, people will gravitate to you. Either they like you or hate you, they'll still gravitate towards you, because you provide context to them. Okay, you provide some sort of answer to lingering questions that they wanted to know about you as a person. So that's the new modern setup in politics. All right, folks. Hey, how y'all doing? You want to say hi to our audience?
Yes.
I'm doing my video blog. Where y'all from?
How are you? I'm from Virginia. Yeah. I'm from Virginia Beach.
Where are you? Okay.
No, Facebook.
Yeah, faceconomics. It's our faceconomics TV on YouTube.
What's your
We're big up
channel
like
thing?
faceconomics, you know, just like Facebook with economics.
Is it an app or is it?
What's that?
Is it an app or is it?
No, it's on YouTube.
Oh, YouTube.
That was
Yeah,
real.
I'm doing the live stream now. Yeah.
What do you do? Like, what do you normally do on?
So I talk about local politics. I talk about, you know, social issues. I talk about sports. Anything that the young population wants to.
facial economics.
Face economics.
Face.
E.
And then economics.
Yeah. This is one word.
So,
There's only one E. You guys mind if I'm videotaping while we're doing this? Because they can see you.
No,
That's all right?
I don't know how to.
Okay.
Is it 1 E or 2 E's?
This one. TV.
This one?
Yep.
Okay, I just.
Excellent. All right, guys. Tell us your names.
Oh, my name is Zay.
Say it.
Shot.
Sean? Okay, guys. My name's Al. Nice to meet you all. So I'm going to keep on going. You can go shout out to your friends or family. You want to say hello? All right, guys. Nice to meet you. All right, you take care.
Hope you have a good day.
You too. Thank you. So, anyway, that's what we're trying to, you know, basically, you know, share with everyone in today's reality of politics. Okay. We want to tell the politicians out there to tell us who you are. Don't just, you know, give us snippets of your pre-fabricated and pre-edited content. Give us the raw, real you as a politician. I wanted to see how you tick. I wanted to see how your creativity influences you. I want to see how you connect with people. I want to see you as a regular person. I don't need to know about your accomplishment at some Ivy League school. I don't care about anything that you did 30 years ago. Tell me what is it that you're going to do for me that you have expertise on moving forward. Okay, folks? Be human. Be a person where people will say, okay, I can support this guy because I'm just, you know, just like this person. He goes through ups and downs in life too. So those are the things that people in today's world wants to see. It doesn't matter if it's in the US or overseas. People want to, you know, have a connection. And I think that's important. That's why every politician should have a YouTube channel or Facebook page or whatever social media platform you use, so that people can know who you are. Don't just tell us about your policy. Why would they care about what you want to do different when we don't really know if you're honest? We don't know if you're really gonna do what you said you're gonna do. Right, folks? So that's something that we need to establish when it comes to politics. And so going back to Mr. Vance, he did a really good job given the situation. He wasn't that popular at the event to begin with, you know, at Urban's event, because he didn't speak in Hungarian. But I think he managed to, you know, at least promote diplomacy. He, you know, did what he was asked to do by the president, and no one gave him the benefit of the doubt, unfortunately, within the liberal media. They didn't, you know, consider that, one, he's not Hungarian, two, he's never lived or worked in Hungary, has no real context of the culture, but yet he still managed to get up there on the stage and talk about certain issues, okay, that is relevant between the US and Hungary in terms of our bilateral relationship. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, that's basically what it is that I want to explore regarding my thoughts on how things went down in Hungary, in Budapest, when Mr. Vance went for a visit and stomp for Viktor Orban. So, anyway. What else is going on in this planet? So Iran seems to be ready to talk about peace. Okay, they seem to want to return to normalcy. Okay, folks. I still don't know how to comment on this particular issue, because as a conservative and who run for the US Senate as a Republican, there's still a lot of things in this moving mechanism, a lot of moving parts that I'm still trying to wrap my brains around. But I'm not going to dive into it so much, because at the end of the day, I do believe now that Iran has a new regime or leadership, things will change for their people and society in general. Are they going to be more anti-American? I don't know. I do know one thing, that they want to get access to what most Americans have access to: resources, social media platform, jobs, prosperity, and things that we value in a capitalistic society. Is capitalism for everybody? We don't know. I guess the 13-year-old in Tehran having a Taco Bell lunch will have to figure that out 30, 40 years from now. Okay, folks. So that seems to be the state of affairs in Iran. Now, what's going on in Ukraine? Well, first of all, my opinion on the war that shouldn't have taken place, or that could have been prevented, is still the same. Let diplomacy take its course and bring Central and Eastern Europe and the whole continent back to normalcy. And I will again ask this question: why did they not just support Ukraine before the war? If all this European Union country really wants to build Ukraine up, why didn't they just support them and allow them into the EU before the war, like before Zelensky took office? And I'm gonna share my personal opinion. I think that didn't happen because the prior president did not want to sell their country to the highest bidder. That's my personal opinion. And They basically did not trust many of the European Union member countries, and vice versa. Okay. So fast forward to the year 2021. Before everything escalated, and before the, I wouldn't say full-blown invasion, maybe a portion of the country was invaded, but overall things could have been mitigated and de-escalated, in my opinion. So that's just me, and it seems like more and more people are starting to gravitate towards that interpretation too. Okay, and I guess that's becoming the prevailing attitude of many Ukrainians even. So why is it important for the region to return to normalcy? Mainly, it will stabilize the markets, and people will be able to gain access to jobs and opportunities and rebuild their country. But I think most Europeans want to go back to normalcy because they want their taxes and the monies that they worked so hard to attain not be donated to another country. Because the European Union was set up to build each other's capacity as a member state. And what they do is pool their resources and build the capacity of the state that doesn't have the same resources. Okay? So that's how it is. But in the case of Ukraine, many, I'm not even just talking about the Trump administration countries in Europe, which there isn't a whole lot left, but I'm talking about even pro-EU countries and their citizens are basically tired of sending more of their money into Ukraine, okay? Because the more money they send out, the more money they have to put into the, bank, put money into their reserves. And so they're tired of it. And August is right around the corner where most Europeans go on their holiday vacation. And vacation is a religion in Europe. When that clock hits 12, people will disperse all over Europe to celebrate their whole month worth of relaxation. They don't come back to work until the following month. Some don't even come back until the next month or so, which is 2 months break. They take their vacation very seriously in Europe. So less money in their pockets, less opportunity to get on our vacation and travel and do whatever it is that they do during their vacation holiday. So that's another situation in which Europeans will be pushing back because they have less money to enjoy their holiday. So when you live in a society that is already a socialist society and you turn them into an uber socialist, okay, or ultra socialist even, then that's when the economy collapses. That's when people lose their ability to pay their workforce. That's the, sign where they're not going to be producing a whole lot because the cost of goods and services are too expensive. So it's simple, basic economics. All right. So yeah. Anyway, folks, I just wanted to let you guys know about this whole thing because it's like a domino effect. Okay, there's going to be people that will be severely affected by all this austerity going on, and many countries are already pushing back. I mean, various countries have removed their politicians from power because of austerity. Because if you're already broke and people keep asking you to be exercising more austerity, then it's going to be very difficult for you to survive. And unfortunately, it's happening in Europe. It's never been the case in the whole continent of Europe, where so many Europeans are struggling financially. So, yeah. But what can you do when people are stuck on stupid? Okay, not a whole lot. I feel for many of my European friends. Okay, folks, because they're the ones that are suffering. You know, the multimillionaires could care less about austerity. And they're the ones that are telling people to tighten their belts, to learn to save and preserve resources. Oh, how can you preserve resources that you don't have? Anyway, that's just the reality of things there right now. It's very unfortunate because, you know, it's so unnecessary. And yet, so many people are having to deal with it. Okay, folks. Yeah. Anyway, let me know if you have any thoughts, suggestions, comments, anything that you want me to talk about on our podcast, video blogs, you know, any of our platforms. Make sure to share and like and subscribe to our channel, or channels, because we have 2 channels on YouTube. And tell your friends about our, you know, campaign, you know, the faceconomics brand, which is the utilization of the social media platform in economic development worldwide. You know, let's make things easy and efficient for the public. Make things easier on people. All right, let's make some sort of a difference in this world. Okay, folks. Yeah. Anyway, thanks so much for taking the time to walk with me on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. And I look forward to our next engagement. Like I said, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Help us build our platform and influence hearts and minds around the world to make this world a better place. You know, folks, it doesn't take much to be a light in this world. Just want to do it, and just a simple gesture, okay, will make a big difference in societies and hearts and minds worldwide. This said, thank you so much for your time. Take care.